What's going on, everyone? So Quincy Olivari was absolutely special in that game against the Golden State Warriors. He was really the main bright spot in that game, in a game that was just, it was rough to watch. But I do it for you guys, right? That's why I stayed and watched the whole game. But Quincy Olivari gave you 22 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 of 16 from the floor, 5 of 9 from 3, and really just showed that he deserves a roster spot. This is a guy that, at least needs to, at bare minimum, be on a two-way. Whatever you got to do. Colin Castleton, waive him, find out what's going on with Koloko. If he's not ready to go, if the NBA isn't willing to sign off on him, maybe you're letting him go. But you cannot lose Quincy Olivari. He got the opportunity to show what he could do. Came off of a previous game that he was special in, and got us our first win. And it was kind of like, what can he do in a kind of more dominant role? And he delivered. And he did it against the Warriors starters and key bench guys. So it wasn't one of those things where it was just against G League guys or anything like that. Really stood out. But another guy that did great and really stood out, in my opinion, is Bronny James. Now, I know people are going to say, and people are going to be negative, and people are going to say what they want to say. If this was any other 55th pick, if it wasn't Bronny James, if this was, Johnny Brames, right? Everyone would be like, man, we got a potential star one day on our hands, right? But because it's LeBron's son, because it's Bronny James, people want to find the negative rather than finding the positive. Is he NBA ready yet? No. Is he a guy that you want in your rotation or anything like that? No, right? He is a couple years away from being a real rotation piece. He's an incredibly hard worker, which is great. He's not one of those guys that's like, hey, daddy got me into the league, so I'm just going to coast. No, he's working hard. I mean, even other execs have talked about, hey, how do you feel about Bronny? His work ethic is incredible. So he's a guy that, you can see what could potentially be from Bronny James. You could see him, bare minimum, kind of being that point of attack, 3-and-D style guard that can come in, defend at the guard position at a high level. He has the athleticism. He could be a slasher, cutter, move without the basketball. If he can develop that three-point shot, which is still an issue, right? Still a bit of a concern. But you can see the tools that he has that later on down the road, even as a athletic Gabe Vincent type or a George Hill or something like that, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be a superstar. No, not everybody needs to be a superstar. Obviously, we'd love it. Bronny James can become even a Drew Holiday type. That would be just absolutely incredible. It'd be A1, Drew Holiday, Derek White type of player would be fantastic. But even if he's kind of a lesser version of that, like I said, a Gabe Vincent type, who can give you, say, 37, 38% from three, but, be a real point of attack guy for you. You need those guys. If he's willing to be that hustle guy and do the dirty work, you need those type of guys. And you saw that in this game, right? Quincy Olivari, again, real standout. He deserves the love and attention. And I've talked heavily about him between this channel and As It Stands Lakers. But Bronny James was the other guy that came to play. This was by far, in my opinion, his best game as a Laker. And he played in 35 minutes, got 17 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 7 of 17 from the field, which I know it's 41%, something like that. It's not great, but he still was very aggressive, right? He was applying rim pressure. He was being crafty and getting the spots where his shot was off. Got 1 block, 3 steals. He was getting after it on the defense side and only 2 turnovers. I mean, even Quincy Olivari had 7. Jalen Trifino had 6. So at least Bronny was taking care of the basketball. Again, he's a guy that you saw actually show up, right? Wasn't elite, wasn't great, anything like that, but compared to everyone else, he was, given the circumstances, he was very good. The next in line behind Quincy Olivari and Bronny James was Jackson Hayes, who had 7 points on 3 of 7 from the floor. Nobody was good in this game. I was incredibly disappointed with Jalen Trifino. I thought Jalen Trifino, this was a real opportunity for him to kind of show and step up. And I'm not saying he had to go and drop 30 or anything like that, did like the 7 assists, but he had almost as many turnovers as he did assists, struggled with ball pressure. He wasn't sturdy driving to the rim. Every time he drove to the rim and was met with force, right, he'd lose the ball or it'd fall off his leg or whatever, right? Just not attacking with purpose at times. And again, I like the 7 assists, grabbed a couple rebounds, but just shot the ball poorly. And again, it was a disappointing game. I'm not ready to say Jalen Hood-Schifino's a bust or anything like that. Again, give him a couple years to see what he can do. Even like Quincy Olivari is like 2-3 years older than Jalen Hood-Schifino. What does Jalen Hood-Schifino look like 2-3 years from now when he is the age of Olivari, when he is the age of Dalton Connect, right? If at that point he's still playing the way that he's playing, then yeah, you need to get rid of him. But right now, nobody outside of like Quincy Olivari really looked like a real roster rotation guy. But when you look at Bronny James, he's already shown the ability to be a very good defensive player at an NBA level. Again, not saying he's elite, not saying that, who needs Gabe Vincent? We got Bronny James at the point of attack. I'm not saying anything like that. But he's shown that he has the athleticism. He recovers well even when he does get beat. He doesn't give up on plays. He's willing to do the dirty work, right? He's shown the things that you want to see from a guy like Bronny, who is the 55th pick. Again, if he was the 17th pick, I can understand some of the criticism. I can understand some of the issues. But he's the 55th pick. Most 55th picks are out of the league by year 1 or year 2. Right? And people talk about, well, it's not that. It's the contract he got. Most of the second round picks this season got that. You know why? Because of the new CBA. New CBA has new criterias for second round picks that actually benefit teams. It's why it's not like Bronny was the only one that got that contract. That was nearly a universal contract for all the second round picks because there is new rules to the CBA. And Bronny coming in at the time that the new CBA kicked in benefited Bronny James. Otherwise, he probably would have been a two-way guy. He probably would have been, gotten a 1-year deal or something like that. But because of the new CBA, he gets a better contract. But that's fun. There's nothing. Again, Laker fans, fans in general, everyone has the fans of impatience, right? But this is a Laker channel, so can only really talk about Laker fans, right? Like we want development guys, right? We see a guy, example, Scottie Pippen Jr. I'm old enough to remember when a lot of the same stuff people are saying about Bronny James, a lot of the same stuff people are saying about Jalen Hood-Schifino, we're all saying the same stuff about Scottie Pippen Jr. And then Scottie Pippen Jr. went to a team like the Memphis Grizzlies that had nothing to win, only everything to lose, and allowed Scottie Pippen Jr. to play 30-plus minutes a game and just go through his hiccups. Scottie Pippen Jr. had games where it was like, wow, why did the Lakers let him go? And then he had games where it was like, oh, wow, this guy's unplayable. But Memphis was willing to allow him to play through the bad games. Memphis was in a position to where it was like, hey, we don't care. We're not trying to win games, right? Like, let him just kind of go out there and just hoop, right? Just let him go play ball and let's see what he can do. And he ended up working his way to a contract. If you did the same thing with Bronny James, you did the same thing with Jalen Hood-Schifino, you'd probably get some similar results. You'd probably get games where, Bronny James goes and gives you 20 and he shoots well and, just looks like a real basketball player out there. And then he probably has games where he's, giving you goose eggs and turning the ball over and just not looking great. Right? Like, that's just part of the game. And it's part of being a development guy. But we see these guys that were once Lakers go to other teams. Even Julius Randle. We just let Julius Randle go. Again, I'm old enough to remember people being like, good, he's trash, he's this, he's that. Now people are crying that Memphis just got better because of Julius Randle and he's an all-star and he's this and why? Why did the Lakers ever let go of him? Ivaka Zuba, all these guys, right? Like, these guys were all under the Lakers banner, but we have a history. I'm not saying we've never developed guys, but we have a history of let's just unload the young guys to go get the star or go get the piece that we need to go win a championship. And look, that's fine. I think the Lakers need to do some of that right now. I think if you can take Jalen Hood-Schifino and add his just shy of $4 million to a deal to go get something we need, or a center or something like that, a Nick Richards, a Walker Kessler, whatever, I think you do it, right? If you could swap right now Jalen Hood-Schifino for Walker Kessler, I would do that all day, including Sunday. All right? But we also need guys to develop. For every Olivari, for every Dalton Connect, right? You need guys that you can spend the next few years, especially a team like the Lakers, that they're trying to win now, right? They have the pieces, right? Like, Bronny James could have been fantastic. Let's say he was 15, 5-5, playing good defense, doing it right. He could have been fantastic. Guess what? He's still spending the league in the G League, spending the year in the G League. Because he's not playing over D'Lo, he's not playing over Gabe, he's not playing over Reeves, he's not playing over Max Christie, he's not playing over Connect, not playing over Vando and Rui and these guys. So again, you need that nice balance. You need the development guys that you can spend a couple years, so that way when LeBron, when AD, when these guys end up departing, Austin Reeves, all these guys, they end up, going to greener pastures or retiring or doing whatever. Right. Well, now the next wave can come in. Now the Bronny James, the Armel Traores, right? Like, those guys can step in and play a role and slot alongside, hopefully, Dalton Connect, who is emerged, right, and been this guy, and maybe it's Quincy Olivari, right? Like, that's what you need. You need to have these events, especially with the new CBA, especially with how restrictive it is. It's why the Lakers and many teams have made it so apparent to, like, hey, we need to get young talent that we can develop over the next few years, right? No, the Lakers didn't bring in Jalen Hood-Schifino or Bronny James or any of these guys to be guys to impact now. And, even Dalton Connect, we're not reliant on Dalton Connect. Dalton Connect could spend the year in the G League, and, like, is Dalton Connect the difference between us winning a championship or not? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see what he can do at an NBA level. Do I think that he can translate to winning games? Absolutely. Do I think we'll win a couple games we wouldn't have won otherwise because Dalton Connect goes and gives us 18? Sure. Right? But we're not going to be so reliant on him that, if Dalton Connect, if the Lakers were like, hey, we're going to let Connect spend the year in the G League, right? We're not so dependent on Connect that's the end of the Lakers. Right? There goes all the Lakers' championship hopes. No, like, he's a piece that can come in, be part of the rotation, and make a real impact. Right? But if you're that reliant on a rookie to be one of your top 2 to 3 guys, what does that say about your team? Chances, unless you were getting a Wemby or a rookie LeBron or something like that, right? Like, no, we're not so reliant on these rookies. Even Connect is going to need development and need growth and stuff. He's just more mature, but he's also older. Right? So, again, a little patience goes a long way, but I really liked what we saw from Bronny this game. As much negativity as that goes around about Bronny, I'm somebody that likes to spin the narrative and be on the positive side, right? When I can. Obviously, look, I've been critical of Bronny. I've talked, even in this video, I've talked about, he's not ready yet. He needs years of development. But, there's nothing wrong with praising a young guy that stepped up. If this was any other 55th pick and he went and dropped 17, we'd be hyping him up. Right? So I don't see what the issue is, But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree with my points? Are you kind of in the middle? Are you kind of mixed about it? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.